Alright, today we are going to be studying triangles and circles. For this activity, you're going to need to have those shapes so you can work with them. I have the foam ones, but you have the paper ones that you should have cut out and put in a baggie. You're going to go ahead and pull out all of the triangles and the circles. Alright, and here you're also going to be pulling out page 219. We're going to be doing this page together, and then you'll be doing a homework one on your own to practice, okay? Alright, let's talk about triangles first. Okay, I'm going to be putting down a whole bunch of triangles here, and I want you to look at them carefully and see if you can notice what things are the same about all the triangles. Okay, so what would be our definition of a triangle? Alright, well, if we counted the corners, let's try with the corners. 1, 2, 3. Alright, how about here? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So what pattern do you notice with the triangle? Good, all triangles, okay, triangles have 3 corners. Alrighty, and what else do you notice about a triangle? Yep, you probably have counted the sides already. There are also, okay, 3 sides. So the triangles have 3 sides. All right. Now, if you study these triangles, there might be something else you notice that some of them have, and really only one of them does not have. I want you to think back to rectangles and squares. What was the one thing that made a rectangle with its corners be a rectangle? Remember that it had to have 4 square corners? Well, we don't have 4 corners here, but let's take a look at some of these corners. Do any of these triangles have corners that look like they could be the corner of a rectangle? Yeah, you'll notice this one right here, if I turned it. Sometimes I'll turn them to kind of show you now. I purposely scattered them so you wouldn't see it right away. But if you look at this one, you notice this looks like the corner of a rectangle. Okay, this looks like the corner. So we would call that a squared corner. How about this one right here? Yes, it has a square corner as well. Now if I turn this, does this have a square corner? Yes, it does. This one, without even turning it, I can see this is a square corner here, and here's a square corner. Now some of you might say, but Mrs. Brinkman, that one doesn't have a square corner. You're right. This one does not have a square corner, but it is still a triangle. So the ones that have square corners are special triangles, okay? So they are called, in first grade, we call them square triangles because of the corner that they have. Okay, they're square triangles, and they have the same rules, but they have one corner that is squared. Now, when you get older, these will be called right triangles. I like to tell the kiddos the curriculum right now calls them, the work we do with the books, calls them square corners. So for first grade, you need to get used to using that. As you get older, they will be called right triangles. Okay, I'm going to just put that here, just, you know, if you want to look a little extra smart. Okay, they are called right triangles. All right. And many of your parents might also know about right triangles. Okay, let's go ahead and clear this board, and let's take a look at, oh, sorry, let me look at the square. There was actually one more rule, or the triangle, there's one more rule. What was the other third rule about the rectangles? They were closed shapes. So, closed shape. All right, they're closed shapes. So they're closed up, and they don't have any openings. All right, let's take a look at a circle. What is something that you notice about a circle? Okay, all right, so they're definitely closed, aren't they? So they are closed shapes, so let's look at circles. So circles, okay, the rules. They are 1, closed shapes. All right, and what's another rule? Okay, good. Do they have any corners? All the other ones we've been mentioning corners and sides. No, they don't have any corners or sides, so we would say that they have 0 corners, okay? So they have 0 corners. Now a third thing about them, because if I just was going by this rule, it's closed and it doesn't have any corners, I could draw a shape like this. And I would ask you, is that a circle then? The answer would be no. Many of you might know that this is called an oval, okay? So this would not be a circle. So what is the difference between this and that? This is what we call that it's also round. So they are round. That means when something is round, if I drew a dot right here in the center, okay, it's an even distance all the ways around to the edge of the shape, okay, of this curved no corner shape. It would be an even distance all the ways around. Alrighty? If you looked at an oval, if I put a dot in the oval here, this distance from there to there in the middle is different than the distance from there to there. So this would not be a circle. Okay? Alright, go ahead and get out your paper here, and we're going to look at it. It's very similar to the rectangle paper that we did. We're going to be crossing them off and asking which ones are not triangles and circles. So if they're triangles or they're circles, we leave them alone. If they're not, we'll cross them off. Okay, so we're going to start with here. Is this a closed shape? Yes. And is it a triangle or a circle? Yes, it's a circle because it is closed up and it is round. Okay, same distances, so we're going to leave it alone. How about this one? Is it a closed shape? Yeah, it's a closed shape. Is it a triangle or a circle? No, it's not. We would call this a rectangle. It's not a triangle because this has 4 sides. A triangle needs 3. It's definitely not a circle because it has sides. A circle would not have sides. So we're going to go ahead and cross that one off. All right, let's take a look at this one. Is it a closed shape first of all? Yeah, it is a closed shape. So let's look at the shape now more carefully. Is it a triangle or a circle? Yes, it is a triangle. Why? It has 3 corners, it has 3 sides, so we're going to leave that one alone. How about here? Is this one a closed shape? Yes, so we can get started on asking ourselves the next question. Is it a triangle or a circle? No, it's not, because it does not have 3 corners, it has 4, and it's not a circle because it has corners and sides. A circle wouldn't have any of those. Let's take a look at this one. Is it a closed shape? Yes, it is. Is it a triangle or a circle? No, this one has 4 sides. We would call that a rectangle or also a square. How about this one? Is it a closed shape? No, it's not. It looks like they were trying to draw a triangle, but they didn't finish it, so we can't call that a triangle because it's not closed. How about this one? Is it a closed shape? Yes. Is it a triangle or a circle? Yes, it is. It's got the 3 sides and the 3 corners. It is a triangle. Leave it alone. All right, how about this last one here? Is it closed? Yes. Is it a triangle or a circle? Yes, it is. It's got 3 sides and 3 corners, so that is called a triangle. All right, let's look at this one. It wants us to draw a shape. It wants us to draw a shape that is closed, that has 3 sides, and that has 3 corners. So go ahead and pause the video, and will you draw something here that follows that rule, that it's closed with 3 sides and 3 corners. All right, ready, go. All right, I'm assuming that you've tried on your own. You should have drawn something like a triangle. It could be one of these kinds of triangles. You could have drawn a triangle like this. You could have drawn a triangle like this. Any of those would be correct because they all have 3 corners and 3 sides. So any kind of triangle as long as it's a triangle. Okay, closed shape. How about this one? Can you draw a closed shape that has no corners? A closed shape that has no corners. All right, oh, sorry, go ahead and pause the video if you haven't yet. All right, now go ahead and open your eyes now, or turn on the video. Here we go. So what would be closed with no corners? Now, interestingly enough, this one says no corners and that it's closed. So this one, really, if you're going by the definition of it, you could have drawn an oval with this one, right? Probably they meant for you to draw a circle. So most of you hopefully maybe drew a circle. What would they need to have said in the definition if they wanted you to definitely draw a circle? They would have had to add that it's round. So that's round. So they would have to say closed, no corners, and is round. Then you definitely would have to draw a circle. Okay? So really, according to what their definition is, either one of those would be correct. All right, go ahead and flip the paper over. Now another thing you can do with shapes is you can organize them based on a rule that they're telling you. So for example, with this one, okay, we're going to do two things. We're going to circle the things that follow the rule, and then we're also going to draw one on our own. Okay, so this first one wants us to draw shapes that are closed. So as long as it's a closed shape, we're going to circle it. Why don't you go ahead and take a second? I'll give you a few seconds, shouldn't take you long. Go ahead and circle the ones that are closed shapes. Alright, you should have circled this one, and you should have circled this one. You're going to go ahead and draw on your own over here another shape. What are some choices? We could have drawn a closed rectangle, right? We could have drawn a closed square. We could have drawn an oval if we wanted to. As long as it was closed, that's what matters. Okay? Alright, let's look at this one. Shapes with 3 sides and 3 corners. So go ahead and circle any of the shapes here that have 3 sides and 3 corners. Alright, you should have circled this one here and this one here because they are triangles. Over here you're going to just draw your own triangle. You can draw any type of triangle. It could be some weird long one, as long as it's a triangle. Alright, let's look at this one. Shapes with a square corner. So we're just looking for one square corner at least. Has to have at least one. So let's look at this one. This is a little trickier, right? So does this have a square corner? Yeah, it actually has 4 square corners. So does it have at least one? Yeah, so we're going to circle this one. Okay, does this have square corners? No, this does not have a square corner. Does this have square corners? No, it does not. You can see these are too small for it to have been the side of a paper, right? The edge of a paper. So this is not a square corner. That's not, and that's not. Let's look at this shape. Does it have a square corner? Yeah, it has at least one square corner here. So this one is also fits the rule of a shape with a square corner. All right, over here you're going to draw your own. You could have drawn just maybe a different rectangle. It could be a different direction. You could have also drawn a square, right? Okay, because both of those would have square corners. You also could have drawn a right triangle or a squared triangle and maybe just go a different direction. So for example, this is still a square triangle. Why? Because it still has a square corner right there. All right. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and do some of the same stuff in your homework. Good luck.